Today we are about to VOD review Zilean. He is actually one of the best and highest win ratio champion at the time being, standing at 53.8% win ratio. He's the third highest win ratio champion in the entire League of Legends roster at the time being. And this is because he's actually such an insane solo queue champion. He has everything that you want and a little bit more actually. So we are talking about solo queue's explosive environment, and Zilean solves everything. If your teammate ints, well, no, because you ult them. Your teammate made a mistake and he overextended, well, guess what? You eat them and they can fall back into safety. The opposing team tries to engage, well, no, you can double queue them, stun them, and then if that's not enough, you can also slow them. The champion has everything you want, and he is an insane solo queue champion. Today we're about to spectate one of the best Zilean player in the Korean server, standing at Master Tier 402 LP with a 70% win ratio on Zilean. So without further hesitation, let's jump right into the game. I will be sure to put the runes on the screen for you guys right now, and I will put both this guy's build on the screen for anybody who is interested, and I will also put the highest win ratio build for the time being. This guy's build will be on the top, and then the highest win ratio build will be on the bottom. I personally think that the highest win ratio build is better suited for the solo queue environment, while this dude's build is just cheaper. And this dude's build is actually insane. I personally think that this dude's build is insane because you're not trying to be as consistent with farming. You're basically trying to play around your jungler throughout the entire course of the game, and then you will fall back in CS because of that, but you will make sure that your jungler or whoever is carrying the game will funnel like mad, right? So this champion's playstyle is basically sacrificing your own gold and your own experience and whatnot, but then making sure that your jungler will be on top. This champion is insane with junglers such as Master Yi, Bel'Veth, all of those carry junglers, but he can work with basically anything. And why is that? Because even if your jungler is not playing a carry jungler, you will always have an AD carry that will be able to carry. Anyways, game is starting. We can see the summon area. The Sinner is trying to go ahead for the ward. The Zilean covers the ward and actually gets a little trade. We are starting with tier and double potion every single game because Zilean has mana problems, and also the tier scales really well as far as mana goes, and it also allows you to get the Seraph's Embrace. We can actually see that the Bel'Veth is going for the red buff. We are playing Zilean. We know that we are more than gankable actually on this champion. We have our E, which is 40% slow, and our Q. We know that the enemy jungler started at the top side of the map. The Bel'Veth is actually ganking us level 2 because we have all of the slows and whatnot. We're almost getting the Syndra kill. She gets to live with 1 health. We're blocking the Listen's Q over here. Watch how he's not allowing the Listen to Q the Bel'Veth. That's like great gameplay by him. Listen is half health, almost dying. We're going in for the Q. We don't land it. The Bel'Veth flashes into the Syndra, and this is a first blood for us. This is actually great, the fact that Bel'Veth understood that we're playing Zilean. We are playing a champion that is really easy to gank, and ganking you is extremely powerful. Even if you... Alright, we're getting hit by the Syndra QE. She don't have her flash, she wasted her teleport, and we are actually inting it just a little bit. That's fine, happens I suppose. We have the teleport ourselves, so we will just instantly teleport to lane. Guys, the mascot is here with us. Our mascot is with us. We're going to win it this time. We're going to win it. She's trying to sleep, I don't let her. Anyways, we're using the teleport into the midst of the map. We can see that the Bel'Veth is trying to gank us. Once again, we know that she has no flash. We dodge the Q and E. We flash instantly, slow her, get the double Q in. We're trying to dive her. She lives with 1 health. We're gritting out for the auto attacks, but that is a death for us. That was actually such a close gank. We almost got her. We have played it extremely aggressive. The Zilean goes in for the gank to cover mid lane. The jungler does manage getting the enemy Syndra, but dies for it. The Zilean almost dies for the minions here, which means that he's about to fuck up that wave, right? Yeah. Yeah, look at the map. You can see massive pings going in by the Syndra. Like, why would you fuck it? Why would you fuck it? Anyways, we are as Zilean. We know where the enemy Zilean was. We're trying to see whether we can catch him. We use our E towards him, but no, we don't manage catching him. Now, if you guys are playing Zilean, you want to constantly think, where is my jungler? What? Where is my jungler? And what you want to do is you basically want to push your lane, you want to slow push your lane, and then you kind of want to match your jungler. If the jungler goes for a gank in the bottom side of the map, you want to go ahead and you want to match it as soon as you hit the like level 6. And then basically anything that happens around the map will be favored towards you, because you have Bel'Veth twice, right? Because once you have Bel'Veth, and then if she dies, you ult her. We do see that the Syndra is roaming towards the bottom side of the map. We are staying in the mid lane, currently trying to achieve level 6 as fast as we possibly can. Nothing too crazy is going in here. Our itemization is Tear of the Goddess into boots, refillable potion, and fairy charm. Alright. Alright. Where the Bel'Veth is in the bottom side of the map. We know that the enemy Syndra is roaming towards the bottom side of the map. So we will go ahead and we will match the roam. We can use our E in the river to make sure that we get there faster. We do see that our AD carry has already died. We're trying to get the stun and whatnot on the Syndra. Maybe see whether we can get an engage on her. But our jungler is really low and the AD carry is really low. So we're just bailing it, going back into the mid side of the map. Now the great thing with Zilean is even if you do roam for the bottom side of the map, and let's say that you need to get back into the mid lane. Alright, we're re-ganking it, we're getting the QQ on the Karma, we're going ahead for the slow on the enemy AD carry, the Bel'Veth is following the gang, and this is a double kill for us. And this is actually exactly what I was talking about. We as Zilean want to be exactly where our jungler is, and we want to make sure that the jungler's gank will have immense impact. And even though we are losing a lot of the XP, right? But that doesn't matter, because personally, us as Zilean, we don't really care about the gold, right? We are here to provide a whole lot of utility. Not to mention that our build is extremely cheap, right? We're going for the Crown of the Shattered Queen, and we're going for the Patrifier. So both items are extremely cheap, and after these two items, we're actually going for Seraph's Embrace. So even if we do miss like 2 or 3 or 4 waves, we're still just fine as far as the itemization goes. And not only that, but we're making sure that our jungler will be insanely ahead, right? And then when the jungler is insanely ahead and you can basically revive him, then the game will be over. And you will probably see that soon. But anyways, we're going back to the lane. We're level 5, we're level 6, as opposed to the Syndra being level 6 as well. We got the Ionian boots, which is actually this dude's buy in every single one of his games. We do see that the Bel'Veth is currently clearing the Raptors and the red buff. So we are pushing the mid lane as hard as we can. And I think that what we're going to see here is we're going to see Zilean matching the roam. And you can actually use your E to make sure that you roam faster than the opponent. We see the Bel'Veth going in for the roam. We're using the slow on the AD carry. The Zilean is coming in here for the counter gank. And the gank did not work. Unfortunate. I do think that if we'd go on the Karma, then the game would have got us like at least 1 kill. But this is perfectly fine. We're going back to the mid side of the map. We can see that the Bel'Veth is hovering us in here. And we can see that the Bel'Veth is actually going back into the bottom side of the map. So what are we doing as Zilean? We ignore the mid lane wave, even though we just missed an entire wave, and we're going back to the bottom side of the map. If anything fishy happens, we will be there, we'll press R, and GG. Even though nothing happened, so we're going back into the mid side of the map. And look at that. The only thing that we missed, because we have our E, like, every time we want, we only missed 1 CS, right? So, even though we are constantly roaming, with Zilean's E, you don't actually lose too much for that. Especially on cannon waves, when the cannon minion is, like, tanking the entire wave. Alright, the Syndra going in for the reset. She teleports back into the lane. We're going for the Q twice to push the wave. We're dodging Syndra's Q and E. Great stuff done by the Zilean. And you actually have way easier time dodging than other champions. Because you can just use your E and then guess what? Like skill shots? Who care about those? Anyways, we do see the Bel'Veth in the top side of the map. We wanted to go for the reset, but once again, we are playing around the jungler. So, if the jungler is playing around the top side of the map, we're trying to make sure that we will be there in case the Lee Sin will follow that. And as soon as we see that the Lee Sin is not there, we're trying to make sure that we will not miss too much CS. So we're going back to the mid lane. We're using our Qs to push the wave. We see that the Bel'Veth is trying to go for the Rift Herald. So once again, we hover that. And it sounds easy. It sounds like, alright, I will just be exactly where my jungler is, right? But no, this is more than that. You have to fully understand when you need to roam and hover around your jungler, and when you need to stay in lane and get those CS. We're going back into the lane. We have the teleport actually, so we can allow ourselves to reset. We're getting the slow into the Syndra. She ults us. We ult to make sure that we stay alive, but we actually end up living with 1 health. That was actually really close. And this is actually exactly why I think that Zilean is a great solo queue champion. Because you as a laner, you don't have any way to actually die. That's crazy. But then you can roam and make sure that your team will be ahead. So imagine, you can't fall behind, but you can only like get ahead by supporting your team. We're actually not using the teleport into the mid side of the map, even though that means that we're losing a wave, because we see that there is a whole lot of action in the bottom side of the map, I think. Even though the Bel'Veth is not around the bottom side of the map yet. We're going for the QQ into the mid lane, pushing this wave as fast as we can, teleporting towards the bottom side of the map. We do not have our ultimate, so we can't actually play that too aggressive, even though the Zilean is going aggressive over here. But yeah, he will play with his life. The Smite gets the kill. Guys, if you don't have your ultimate as Zilean and you're playing on a number disadvantage, do not play that aggressive. That will not do. It won't end good for you. The Bel'Veth is starting to go for the 2 versus 1. She's going in. The Lee Sin follows that. She's using her, I don't know what skill that thing is. The E? Yeah, that's the E. She's using her E, dodges Lee Sin's Q, and goes out alive. Alright? She's actually 5-1. The Bel'Veth is 5-1. We as Zilean were back to life. After the Ionian boots, we're itemizing for Crown of the Shattered Queen, so we're going for the chapter. We have our ultimate, so even if Bel'Veth will try to gank it, this is perfectly fine. She's going in for mid lane to actually go and collect some more farm. We're putting a ward to make sure that the Lee Sin will not gank us. Now, we see that the Bel'Veth is around the top side of the map, so what we're going to do now is we're going to probably push the wave, get hit by Syndra's QE, dodge her second Q and W, great stuff. Bot lane is winning the bot lane in the meanwhile. We're using both Qs on the wave, pushing it instantly. Poop, wave is gone. And then we're trying to see what can we do on the map. We see that the Bel'Veth is top side. So you can see that we slightly hover the top side of the map. The Lee Sin is trying to gank us in the mid lane, so we just make sure that the gank will not work. We ping the jungler that the Lee Sin is probably pathing towards the red. And we can see that the Syndra is trying to go ahead and get the kill over here. The Bel'Veth is hovering the mid lane, and so does the Thresh. So we're not too scared to play that aggressively, especially when we have our ultimate. We're slowing the enemy Syndra. We wanted an engage, but the Bel'Veth was against it. She did not think about our ultimate. We were CC'd, so we couldn't actually ult the Bel'Veth. That's pretty unfortunate. But guys, in your elos, you can actually just ult whenever someone is pretty low, and the opposing team will probably just try to finish him off. We're trying to hover because we see that the Rengar is still around the mid side of the map. We're I personally think that we're too low to actually fall for it. We're throwing our Qs. The Rengar is going in for the engage. We stay here because we are looking for Qs. The Zilean gets double turret shot. The Q is on him, and this will be just enough to finish him off. I'm actually highly against staying here, but it works. And if it works, who am I to say otherwise, right? Alright, we're getting hit by Syndra's Q and E, and this is extremely risky here. Once again, God, I know that he's probably a Zilean player, so he doesn't have the instinct to like, alright, let's go back because I can die. Because as Zilean, can you actually die? No. But if you're that low, guys, please just recall. You don't have your ultimate up. Just press B. Doesn't cost money. And you will actually get back to laning like more than in time. Because you will press B and you will just E from base into the lane. And not only that, but since you're itemizing for Ionian boots first, you're so extremely quick. The Bel'Veth is trying to gank us once again. We're going for the E on the enemy Syndra, and this will be just enough to get the kill. And she actually flashed as well. And this is actually great to show how impactful that E skill is. You can slow the opposing team by 70%. They literally cannot move. And after you slow them, you don't have any way to miss your double Qs, right? Insane champion. If you guys want to go ahead and collect some free LP, please pick it. Alright, we see the Bel'Veth is going for the Drake. We're hovering the Bel'Veth, even though we are pretty low. We're going for the slow on the Zilean. Q once. We don't have Q twice. We have our ultimate. We're not using the ultimate on ourselves because we know how much damage things are dealing. We see the Rengar over here against the enemy AD carry. We are using the ultimate on him, but he doesn't end up dying. The Bel'Veth is going in, but this will not be enough to get the kill. By the way, guys, you could actually see that the enemy AD carry was forced. Ooh, we're alive. Was forced to stop attacking the Rengar in the middle of the fight. And why is that? That was because we used our ultimate on him. So if the enemy AD carry continues to attack the Rengar will just get back to life, get Zilean's movement speed, and kill him, right? So this shows how insane Zilean ult actually is. So even if your ultimate doesn't revive anyone, that still means that the opposing team cannot damage him now. They have to ignore that target. And if that target is, let's say, a 5, 7, and 2 Bel'Veth that has Death Dance, and if she kills someone, she gets insane healing, what can they do, right? Alright, so once again, we are around the Herald. We see that the Rengar and the Bel'Veth are around the Herald, hovering it. We're using our E, we are using our double Q on the Syndra. We end up getting the kill. And we actually don't have our ultimate, but we are staying around it. The Zilean goes for the Q, get the Bel'Veth, we slow him, we get the enemy jungler. And that was actually an insane fight for us. We have our carry, we are playing around the Bel'Veth. Wherever she is, we will be there as well. Even though, unfortunately, we did not have our ultimate, the fight ended up, like, really well. We got 2 kills, and we made sure that the opposing team won't be able to go for the Herald, right? Now, we have our Crown of the Shattered Queen now, and we have our boots. The next item that this dude constantly goes for is the Petrifier item. And once again, he's going for a really cheap build because look at his CS numbers. He's standing on 81 CS as opposed to the enemy Syndra, who's standing on 142, right? So, because we're sacrificing so much CS, we have to go for a build that will be somewhat cheap. So we're going for the Crown of the Shattered Queen, which is basically the one of the cheapest mythic items, and then we're going for the Petrifier item. We do see that our team is fighting around the tops of the map. We're here versus the Aatrox. We're slowing him. We get the double Q. He's not even trying to dodge it. He thinks that Zilean is a weak champion, but look what is going to happen over here. We're slowing him once again. He cannot move. He's using his ultimate. We use our double Q. He's trying to play aggressive once again. We slow him. We kill him. 300. Champion is like, the champion is just so underrated and he's not being played too often, so people don't really know how to interact with him. They don't understand that even though, alright, we have a Herald in the mid side of the map, we're using our teleport, instantly using the ultimate on the Belveth to make sure that she will probably leave, but the Zilean actually ulted her out of the fight, which means that we cannot, which means that the ultimate went, that was pretty unfortunate actually, once again. Our ultimate aren't too impactful in the current game, but like, this is perfectly fine. As long as the Belveth will not throw her 400 shutdown, we're fine with that. The Rengar is going in for the ultimate, and look how fast this dude goes on both his ultimate and Zilean's E. We are standing from far back, throwing our double Qs on the Belveth actually, and this isn't like pretty insane because both Belveth and Rengar will stick to their targets, especially when we use our E on them, right? They cannot, the target cannot escape. So we are just trying to stand back, throw our Qs on someone that we cannot miss, and make sure that the dude that has the bombs on him will be on the target, will stick to the target. Alright, the Drake is going up anytime soon. The Belveth still hasn't died. She's 11 and 3. We're constantly using our ultimate on her. We went for the Oblivion Orb now. Yeah, so we are itemizing for the Petrifier currently. We are itemizing for the Petrifier currently. Alright, we're trying to steal this in blue. Just some solo Q shenanigans. Oh, we actually do manage to steal it. The Belveth is coming in here and actually smites it, takes it. We're using our E to make sure that she can get faster to the Drake. QQ. And at this point, the game is basically really favored towards us. We have one person who has insane amounts of damage, and we have Zilean that can make him basically final boss, right? So we have the boss Belveth here, and nothing can happen to her. We're matching the top side of the map. Look how insane Zilean wave clear is. We QQ, get the entire wave. We see that there will probably be an action around the barn here. So we're using the E on the Belveth once again, the double Q on her. We have our ultimate up in case it will be needed. The Zilean is using his ult on the Belveth. We're using our ultimate on her. Actually end up dying ourselves. But that means that the opposing team cannot focus her. And look at that. Look at how, even though she didn't got the revive itself, the opposing team couldn't focus a 12 and 3 Belveth. And that means that she will use her items and she will heal all the way back to full health. Right? So, guys, even if the opposing team focus you on Zilean, please do not eat the bait of ultimating yourself. Even if they kill you, it doesn't matter. It legitimately doesn't matter unless you have a huge shutdown on yourself. But unless that is in any other instance where that is not the case, and it shouldn't be the case because you shouldn't be the one who is taking the kills, don't fall into the trap of using your ultimate on yourself, because you don't give that much to the fight. But what you do give to the fight is utility. So if you waste all of the utility on yourself, you basically throw that utility to the trash, right? And not to mention that you have your crown to stay alive, you have your ease to dodge stuff, right? So do your best not to use your ultimate on yourself, but rather use it on your teammates. Alright. There is no Drake coming in soon. Barn is already down, we took the barn as well. And the game is in our hands. We see the Rengar in the top side of the map. There are no wards around it, unfortunately. We're using our E to try and cover the top side of the map in case anybody goes towards there. We see that the Belveth is trying to go into the Syndra. We're using our QQ and miss it. And once again, look how we're not using the ultimate on ourselves. Even though we ended up dying, I think that he actually tried to use the ult on Belveth. I'm not entirely sure. Let's watch it once again, but slower. Alright, no. So, he tried to make sure that he's using his ultimate on someone before he dies, right? So once again, we don't use the ultimate on ourselves. Even if we die, that is perfectly fine. We gave a whole lot of utility in that fight, and that means that we're winning it. We're diving them. If we would have hit the QQ, that probably would have meant that the Syndra would die, but we missed it. That was a little bit unfortunate. We're getting another engage by the Belveth. She's insanely fed. She's going in for her E, almost enough to kill the enemy AD carry. She's going in for the flash into the Q, gets the kill. Tries to kill the enemy Karma. She ends up flashing as well, if I'm not mistaken. Ends up escaping because she has insane mobility. We dodge her Q, go in once again and get another kill. Why? Because Zilean made sure to babysit our asses early on this game. So we are insanely ahead. The Zilean sees that the Belveth is pretty low. He's using the teleport to try and use his ult on her. He used his E to try and get in range to her, but that was half a second too late. That could have been the first ult revive that we'd get this game in the Belveth, but no. But that is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. We do see the Lee Sin over here, but this is us with Thresh, so we don't really want this engage. We can see that the Zilean is pretty much against it. We're using our QQ on the Lee Sin, end up missing one of the Qs. We hit one though. Now when the AD carry is with us, now we can fight. We use our ult on the Thresh to make sure that he will not die, even though that meant that Kai'Sa died. So I think that there was a little bit of miscalculation as far as the damage goes. I think that he thought that they are 100% winning this fight, so he didn't want to give 100 gold. By the way, look at the ult cooldown. 50-second cooldown on that thing. Now, we're going back to the base. We see that the Belveth is going for the bottom side of the map. So we are using our E and once again hovering the Belveth because she's the carry. And we are here just to make sure that she's able to be a menace on the rift, right? She's insanely fast, she's everywhere, she cannot die. And she can CC now with Zilean's QQ. We're using our movement speed on the Belveth. She's able to engage. She goes back. We're playing it slow because the Drake is up. We're actually starting the Drake even though we are currently at a number disadvantage. The Thresh and Kai'Sa are pathing towards us, but the Drake just goes down. The opposing team knows that even if it's a 3 versus 5, they are pretty equal, so they don't want to bet it. They're trying to play probably towards the later stages of the game, but at this point when we have 3 Drakes, it just doesn't matter. Kai'Sa hits the W, going in on the enemy Aatrox, gets the 275. We're trying to just dish out some damage. We're trying to play it pretty slow because the Belveth is not around us over here probably. We don't ping full back to our team for some reason. We continue going for these Qs. The Belveth is going from behind trying to get a dive, a 5 versus 5 dive. We're making sure to use our E on her whenever possible. And you can see how he continues hovering her. We're using our QQ on the turret, nothing too special going in here. Continue using our movement speed on the Belveth. Mid lane is pressured and the Baron is going to be up anytime soon. So we are probably going... We see that the Belveth is pathing towards it, so we will go ahead and we will start pathing towards it as well. Once again, we're hovering the carry. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that if Kai'Sa was the carry, for example, then we would hover Kai'Sa instead of the Belveth, right? If Rengar was the carry, then we would hover Rengar instead of the Belveth. But in this game, the Belveth is 14-4, so we make sure that she cannot die. And you can see that he's actually allowing the Belveth to farm instead of farming himself. And this is because, once again, our build is extremely cheap. We don't really need all of that gold. Now Belveth is going in. She starts the Baron solo. We see that she might be in danger. We're using our teleport to pressure the mid side of the map. QQ, wave is gone. and then we'll start pathing towards the Baron. We are scared of getting engaged on, so we put the control ward over here. We clear the opposing wards. We see that our entire team are here. We can just slow Aatrox, run away, QQ, who cares? Lee Sin tries to steal the Baron, doesn't manage, and he ends up dying for it. We as the Zilean make sure to move in speed whoever can engage. We tried to move in speed refresh, that wasn't enough. We use our ultimate on the Rengar to make sure that he cannot die. That's a really impactful ultimate over here. He gets back to life, he doesn't die, and we get 3 kills. In the meanwhile, we make sure to continue hovering the Bel'Veth, even though we are extremely low. We don't care about it, because she will deal the damage. We are just here to make sure that the opposing team will not be able to escape her engage. And look how wonderful it ended up being, right? And just like that, guys, this is how you carry with Zilean. Now, if you will press tab, you will probably be like, no, but Foxy, the Bel'Veth carried. No, the Zilean carried, because the Bel'Veth was everywhere, but she could be everywhere because of Zilean's 90% movement speed boost and constant revives, and make sure that the Bel'Veth cannot die and she will become a final boss. So guys, to sum it up, if you guys want to carry as Zilean, what you want to do is make sure to hover your junglers constantly. Be wherever they are, be around your carries, and use your ultimate better than what we saw here. But in any case, guys, if you want to go ahead and pick some free LP, maybe expand your champion pool, Zilean might be the champion for you. The champion is extremely overpowered. And with all of that being said and done, I hope to catch you all in our next VOD reviews. If you want to level up your gameplay, feel free to book a coaching session right below. And with all of that being said and done, catch you all next time. Peace, and I'm out.